The other week I was working on the Hansshow taillight video when I noticed that my car's right repeater signal light had failed. One way to determine this is when you use your turn signal, the flash is rapid, faster than normal. This indicates a light is out due to less resistance on the circuit. Let's see what happened. First, to access the repeater light, which includes an autopilot camera in the same housing, I need to remove the trim clips that are in the wheel well area. In my case, it's a little more complicated since I have mud flaps installed. First, remove the mud flaps that are held in place by two trim clips with a plastic pry bar. You do the same thing without the mud flaps. The trim clips are in the same location. Then there are two trim clips inside the wheel well towards the top left and the top as shown here. Remove them with the plastic pry bar. Now the wheel well plastic needs to be loosened from the side of the car. Grab it like I show here and pull it out from the body panel. Now it can be flexed and you can move it out of the way to access the interior. Shining a light inside this area, you can see that there are cables that are connected onto the repeater. This video happens to be shot after I fixed it. So originally there was a yellow wire that was disconnected and dangling off of the connector. This was the culprit for the broken light. Luckily it was not the light fixture itself. There are 4 clips that hold the repeater to the car. 2 are on top, 1 is on the bottom, and 1 is on the front. You can remove it from the car, but you have to be very careful. Inside the car, bend the clips with your fingers, and then use a combination of pushing from the inside and pulling from the outside to slowly extract it out from the car. Sorry I didn't have video on this when it was happening. If everything goes well, all 4 clips will remain on the repeater. However, if one breaks, it's not the end of the world, but try to get all 4. Pulling the repeater away from the body, you can see 2 black wire looms with wires inside them. These 2 cables are connected to the repeater housing. The one on the left is the video cable for autopilot and Sentry dashcam. The connector on the right is for the turn signal. As you can see, the yellow wire is disconnected from the connector attached to the housing. Either this was a factory defect or happened slowly over time. The wire broke from the connector, possibly due to flexing or movement. Eyeballing the wire, it appears to be about 24 gauge. I twisted the individual wire filaments together and used a needle nose pliers to insert it into the connector. I engaged the right turn signal on the steering wheel stalk, but no, it's not working. The yellow wire would go into the opening, but not far enough to make a connection. Plan A didn't work, so on with Plan B. In my garage, I found a short solid core wire. I stripped the ends with a wire trimmer. I removed the yellow wire from the connector. I poked one end of the wire into the connector and it felt solid and didn't move. Taking a wire trimmer, I cut off some of the insulation to get more wire exposed. Then I attached the black wire and the yellow wire and twisted it together. Other options could be to use a twist-on wire nut or a push-in wire connector. Now I take a piece of electrical tape and cover the whole area where the two wires are connected. Then another piece to attach it to the black wire loom to keep everything from moving around. Obviously, replacing the connector would also solve the issue. Another suggestion I received would be to replace the pin where the broken wire attached. Soldering is not recommended in automotive applications due to vibration and heat cycling. With the wiring connected, I turn on the right turn signal on the steering wheel stalk. And yes, it is working, which is great. I loosely place the repeater back into the opening, and I make sure it is working fine. Then I use a microfiber cloth and press all around the edges to make sure that the 4 clips fully engage and attach to the car. At this point, I have to put everything back into place. Close up the wheel well panel so that it is behind the body panel. For the unmodified car, insert the 2 trim clips into the lower area here. If you happen to have mud flaps like I do, insert the mud flap and then put the 2 trim clips into the holes. Also make sure the top part is hooked into the body panel. And finally, insert the 2 trim clips into the top of the wheel well area. Now for the final look at the right side of the car. Tail light, repeater, and front lights are all working now, and also at the correct speed with the fixed wiring connection. Overall, this was actually an easy and free fix. I didn't need Tesla. Since I'm out of warranty, I would like to fix some things myself and save a couple $100. Make sure you take your time removing the repeater so you don't break the clips. Well, that wraps up this video showing how I repaired my broken right repeater turn signal light. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.